Hi guys, you're welcome back to our 30 days makeup series. And on today's edition, this is our beautiful model for today. We'll be doing a soft makeup look. So we started off with grooming our brows as usual. Went to the underneath part to groom the under first. All the excesses, we took them out. And then afterwards, we went on to brush the hair downwards to take off all the excesses. And then we went to the top part of the brow to ensure that the hairs are perfectly groomed. And whatever it is that I did for these other parts of the brow, or should I say the left brow, I went to do for the right brow. And that was taking off the excesses on the under and then at the top as well, as you can see me do on this video, guys. So if you've not already subscribed to this channel, if you're a first time viewer, please subscribe to our channel, hit the post notification bell button, and sit tight because we keep dropping teas back to back. We're doing a 30-day series and there are lots of tutorials going on this page. So after we finished grooming the brows, I went in with my favorite micellar water from Garnier to cleanse my entire skin and ensure that it is very clean before I went in with my skin products. As you can see, our skin looks really clean. I went on to ensure that our lips were also wiped off because she had lip gloss on and I obviously didn't want that in my makeup routine. So I cleaned it and then moisturized that lip afterwards to ensure that I have a clean base, like a fully clean base to start my makeup on. So after cleaning our face, I went in with my hydrating products. I hydrated her face very well with an hydrating mist. I spread an hydrating mist all over her face, allowed it to sit, and then I went in with an hydrating serum to hydrate her entire face, especially under the eyes, to infuse hydration into her skin and bring back life to the skin. Because obviously, after cleansing the skin obviously looked very dry and pale. So this automatically brings back life into the skin. After I finished doing this process, I went in with a moisturizer to moisturize and ensure that the face is fully moisturized before I went in with the primer to prime the T-zone areas of her face, literally her forehead, the bridge of her nose, and her chin. And after I finished doing this process, I went in to mix a foundation that would sink into our skin. And as you can see me do, these two foundation combination brought a beautiful sink of color into our skin. This foundation was properly blended into our skin and it just made a beautiful match, and I totally loved the outcome of how it looked. I kept blending this foundation in and I went over and over again in order to achieve a sheer full coverage. This foundation is a buildable foundation and it gives a really full coverage when you build. So you see me building, I go back and forth, ensuring that everywhere is fully covered and everywhere is properly blended in the accord that I wanted. So you can see me blending this foundation in. I went back and forth, ensuring that it's smooth and everywhere is properly coated before I went in with my next product. And that is, of course, bronzing our cheek line, our forehead, in order to ensure that these areas are slightly a bit darker, more warmth. Apply more warmth on these areas in order to ensure that it gives her face that sculpt that I want. Before I went in with my blush shade to blush the lines immediately after the bronzing line on her cheekbone to give her face that pop of color, and then ensuring that it's a sync in terms of how the colors are layering up on her face. So after the bronzing line came the blush, and then the next, which is going to be the highlighting. So on applying the highlighting concealer, I used a flat tipped brush that also works for blending to apply a concealer that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than an actual foundation undertone. I applied it in a blending on order, and I literally applied it under her under eyes and her chin, the bridge of her nose, her forehead, and I ensured that these products were placed rightly and they were blended in the right manner. And I achieved that cinch look that I wanted her face to have using these products. So you can see me apply this concealer product around the entire face. Around the entire face. Over the points that I want, that's literally the under eyes, chin, bridge of her nose, and her forehead, in order to give her face that cinch that I desire. So I kept blending in to ensure that this product is a complete blend and it completely sinks into the framework that we're trying to work with. And I kept blending it in the motion, considering the placement patterns that we're following. So that's what you see me literally do on the video. I kept blending it in while I'm applying to ensure that everywhere is smooth, beautiful, and fully sculpted. to ensure that everywhere is fully synced, beautiful, and fully sculpted, and everything marries up beautifully together. That was essentially the main reason why I took my time when it came to blending. So this is me blending in with a beauty sponge in the motion that I want. You can see how I blend. I'm blending it upwards in order to ensure that the face is properly being lifted. So I blend and I blend and I blend and I blend. There's usually no time frame for blending. For blending, you have to take your time and ensure that you achieve your desired result. Everywhere is smooth and properly in sync before you can go to do your next layer of product. So after blending in my highlight regions, I went in with a beauty blender to ensure that every other part of the makeup is fully blended as well. Because don't forget, we're still at the cream stage of the makeup where everything is still in its cream form. So afterwards, I went in to set, and before I set in my under eyes, I ensured that I use a beauty blender to blend out the under eyes again in order to avoid cracks. Then I take my powder puff, take some products, take setting powder, buff it at the back of my hand in order to reduce all the excess, and set with just the right amount of powder that my under eyes need to be set. My under eyes do not need so much powder in order for me to set them. It just literally needs little to very minimal powder, enough to just set the makeup. We're not baking at this point, so we're going in with very minimal powder in order to ensure that that place is smooth, crease free, and it stays smooth all through the day. So that is what you see me do. I applied the same rule for the other eye as well, blending it in first before I went in with my powder, using my powder puff to ensure that everywhere is in place. So after doing this exercise for your under eyes, you can now go into pat dry the other parts of your highlight regions using your setting powder. But this time, you don't necessarily have to go and blend in again because that's not your under eye. Those parts of your face don't crease like your under eyes would if you're not careful about how you go about them. Your chin would not crease, your forehead will not crease. So you can just go in directly with your setting powder, ensure that the products are being placed rightly in a perfect motion. So I usually press in, and that is what you see me do. I'm just pressing it in lightly, ensuring that everywhere is properly positioned and everything is in a beautiful order. So after I've applied my setting powder, I went in with a bronzing palette to contour our nose. This is to cinch our nose and give our nose that cinch that we want it to look like. Mimicking the patterns that our nose rightly have, using a bronzy palette from Glam, of course. I bronzed our nose to give it that cinch that we want our nose to have, mimicking the original pattern that our nose already has. You see me going in, back and forth. And now when you want to do this, please make sure to use a very fluffy brush and do not pick so much product. If you pick, dust off before application and just sweep it around the areas where you want to do it. You don't have to press in products to pack so much. You don't have to pack in products for this exercise. You just have to do it lightly, and you watch how the work will just come beautifully together. You don't have to be in a hurry while you're doing this. Take your time and just keep blending, and in no time, the nose is going to make sense. The sculpting that you sculpted, the nose is going to make sense in no time. So just trust the process. Do not be in a hurry and sculpt the nose. So after ensuring that the nose is properly blended and smooth, I go in with a setting powder on the bridge of the nose in order to achieve that highlighted pattern on the nose, in order to give that nose the cinch that we desire before we go in to bake every other part of our face and we start prepping our skin for the eye work. So this is me essentially dusting off the edges of our nose in order to ensure that there's that cinch and our nose really looks slim and beautiful before we bake our entire face. As you can see, I'm going in with another layer of setting powder under the eyes. This is to bake the face and to ensure that when we apply eyeshadows, all the fall-offs can fall on that powder that I'm applying under our eyes. That way we can easily sweep it out without stressing our skin work and making it look dirty. So this particular product is essentially just to prep for me, I do this to prep for my eye work, because personally I don't like baking the face a lot. So me baking is essentially for the eye work. So I go in with the eyeshadow primer, and then I go in with my concealer in order to ensure that the eyes are bright and ready enough to start applying those eyeshadow colors in order to make my shadow pop better. So this is the end of our series for today. You stay tuned to our channel. We'll be posting how we completed the full look of this glam. Stay tuned to this channel. If you've not already subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. Click the post notification bell